Welcome into OutKick the show. I'm your fearless leader, Clay Travis. Also, frankly, a beast of a man that has had to deal with being incredibly good looking for my whole life. And now you all know that I'm also incredibly strong. It's a burden that my very strong, ample male shoulders are able to carry, but that many of you would crumble under. A lot of haters out there, a lot of people, I know this is crazy, did not believe that your boy could actually do 185 10 times. And the haters are curled up in the fetal position in their I'm with her t-shirts, softly sobbing like when Joe Biden announced that he wasn't going to be running for re-election. They're looking for Kamala and Tim Walz to hug and dab their tears because I have risen up on them like the giant man that I am and dunked all balls in the face right on their chin. And as much as they may like balls on their chins ordinarily, they don't want my balls on their chin. But that is where we are, my friends. I will share that video soon. But first, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. College football. I'm going to give you my picks. Big games. I will tell you the games that I am most excited to watch tomorrow. Kelly Stewart, Kelly in Vegas, and I will break down all of these games and all of this action. And we will discuss where we see everything going. But I'm going to talk about the big games. In particular, Notre Dame on the road against Texas A&M. LSU going up against Southern Cal. And Florida hosting Miami. To me, those are probably the three most interesting games out there in terms of what they say about the larger landscape. I'm going to give you my picks in all those games and tell you why I think those are the three best games coming forward for college football. I'm going to talk about my incredible strength on the bench press. Kamala Harris finally sitting for a interview with Dana Bash of CNN, but she's going to be joined by Tim Walz. I'm going to talk about why that is an embarrassment. The Pittsburgh Steelers, a.k.a. Mike Tomlin, has made the choice who's going to be the starting quarterback. It's Russell Wilson over Justin Fields. What do we think about all that? And more we will discuss, but let's begin right here with, given the fact that it is college football weekend, what I think are the three best games. I'm going to give you my three gambling picks, break down why I think they're significant. To me, the single most intriguing game that is coming up this weekend is Miami on the road against Florida. Why do I say that? Why am I super excited Saturday afternoon to sit down and watch Miami, Florida, 3:30 Eastern, I believe, is the kick time there in the Swamp. It's going to be 198 degrees on the field there. What do I expect to happen? I think Florida's going to win. Florida is a 2.5-point underdog. I am telling you, take the Gators on the money line. If you don't have that courage, take them plus 2.5. Guys, Adam, let me know if these lines have moved. This was the lines when I bet them on Monday. And by the way, these articles are up with my 15 gambling picks. Let me tell you why I think Florida is going to play well. They've had an entire offseason to prepare. They're at home. And I think Billy Napier, you look at those final 7 games, absolute brutality in those final 7 games. Even a really good team, and the Florida Gators are not a really good team, might go 2-5 or 3-4 in that final 7 games. But if you look right now at what Miami has accomplished so far, I frankly don't believe that Miami has established that they are able to pull off a road win like this. They've been very undisciplined under Mario Cristobal. They have not in any way demonstrated that they, in my opinion, are capable of going on the road in a tough, raucous, wild environment like the Swamp will be and get a win there. I think that Florida is going to win this game outright. I think they'll cover the 2.5. By the way, let me give you this. Billy Napier still may end up getting fired, but listen to the final 7 games. At Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia, at Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, at Florida State. That might be the toughest 7-game stretch that has ever existed out there. But if you are a Florida fan, if you can win this game against Miami, and I think the Gators are going to win the game, there's a decent shot they're 5-0 when they play at Tennessee on October 12th. Not crazy to believe that the Gators, the first 5, other than Miami, very winnable games. I think that Billy Napier is going to have the team ready. I think that he is, it's going to stun people, actually on game day a better coach than Mario Cristobal. I think the Gators will outperform and outprepare Miami at home. Give me the Gators plus the 2.5 to get this win. Let me go ahead and give you my blood bank guarantee. Notre Dame at Texas A&M. Tap the veins, boys and girls. Texas A&M is going to cover the 2.5, and they are going to also, the under is going to hit. But my blood bank is Texas A&M on the 2.5. You say, why? Mike Elko last year at Duke coached Notre Dame's new quarterback who has transferred, Riley Leonard. Riley Leonard got injured last year against Notre Dame. If you remember the way that game ended, and I do, because I had Duke to win that game. Duke gave it away late. Sam Hartman made a few plays. Marcus Freeman and the Fighting Irish went on the road in Durham, got the win over Duke. Riley Leonard was severely injured with that ankle, has spent a lot of time recovering from it. Mike Elko since then goes to A&M. Riley Leonard goes to Notre Dame. New quarterback for Marcus Freeman in Notre Dame. Nobody knows Riley Leonard better than Mike Elko. He's a defensive-first coach. He was able to slow down that Notre Dame offense. I think he will be able to do the same in College Station at night. I've been to a lot of College Station games. A&M is one of the loudest stadiums anywhere in the country. I don't think Notre Dame will play well there. I think that it will be a low-scoring game. I like Notre Dame 20-13. The under hits by double digits, I think. But, again, tap the veins, boys and girls. If you want to be drinking for free in the Dixie Chicken, if you want to be out in Aggie Land saying, thank the Lord for Clay Travis and the blood bank guarantee, you need to take A&M minus the 2.5. A field goal wins this game for us and covers. They're going to win by a touchdown or more. And then LSU Southern Cal. Two bets for you here. I like LSU minus the points, and I like the over. What do we always say about Lincoln Riley? Every year we say, hey, this is the year that Lincoln Riley has got the defense figured out. This is the year that suddenly Oklahoma is going to put everything together. They're going to score a lot of points, and on the other side of the ball, they're not going to give up a ton. And every year what happens? Lincoln Riley disappoints us. Offense is good. Defense absolutely falls apart. Going up against LSU and Brian Kelly, incredibly talented team. I like LSU to win this game comfortably. I like them to hang over 38. Score is going to be 45-28. LSU wins. Under soars over. Brian Kelly hasn't gotten the defense figured out yet either. It's going to be a fun game. LSU covers and the over hits. Those are the three biggest games. Now, look, I'll also give you one more. Clemson, Dabo Swinney trying to get back on track again. Tomorrow we'll give you a full breakdown of all 15 of my picks. Kelly Stewart, Kelly in Vegas will have her own picks. I actually like Clemson plus the points against Georgia. And really, I've not heard it discussed a great deal. I think Georgia is going to miss Brock Bowers a great deal. Carson Beck went to Brock Bowers a massive amount last year. Auburn game, if you remember that one, they don't win it without Brock Bowers. That was we're going to go to him. It's third down. I don't care if he's double covered. We're going to get the ball to him. That happened a not insubstantial amount last year. I think that without Brock Bowers, Georgia would have lost at least 2 regular season games because he was the security blanket for Carson Beck. I think Carson Beck's going to be very good. Georgia's the most talented team in football. Maybe Alabama and Ohio State could have an argument there if you look at recruiting class rankings, but in general, I think I think that Clemson goes and manages to keep this around an 8 to 10 point game. So people out there said, "Oh, of course you picked the SEC in the game with Florida over Miami, and you picked the SEC with A&M over Notre Dame, and you picked the SEC with LSU over Southern Cal. You're a stupid homer." All right, I'm taking Clemson to cover the number against Georgia. I'll give you one more. Penn State, West Virginia, big noon kickoff. I'm going to be on big noon a bunch of weeks again, like I have been the last 3 years. I like Penn State to cover and I like the over in this game in Morgantown. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. James Franklin covers at a very high rate. I think he gets it done. Fun game, old school rivalry. A lot of people don't realize how close that area of the country is. When I went to Morgantown, I flew into Pittsburgh. When I went to State College, I flew into Pittsburgh. A lot of overlap there. In fact, and I don't know if this ever aired, I did a pilot back in the day, like a decade ago for FS1, and I went to Morgantown, bought a couch, and burned it. That was a part of our show, an OutKick show that we did. It was lots of fun. I don't know that thing ever saw the light of day, but we had a lot of fun with it. There, what did I do? Pick 5 games. There's 15 picks up on OutKick. Tomorrow we'll give you more detail. Are there any other games? Those are probably the 5 most intriguing games to me. Let me make sure that I didn't miss any other big game that I picked. I'm scrolling through my picks right now. A lot of games out there. As usual in week 1, a lot of the games that are going on are substantial lines. In other words, it's like Tennessee against Chattanooga, Alabama against Western Kentucky, Colorado State on the road against Texas. I've got picks in those games as well, and we'll talk about them tomorrow. But those are, to me, the games that jump out that are the most interesting and the most entertaining. Okay, let's talk about my incredible strength. So I now have a TikTok account. I have a TikTok account, and this is 100% true, because my nanny that we have recently hired, and nanny is a little bit unfair. The kids are old enough. You tend to think of nannies as being involved with young kids. My kids are 16, 13, and 9. A lot of times what we need is just help, because I'm on the road a lot, because my wife's doing work. She's a lawyer as well. We just need help getting kids to events. And so a lot of it is, hey, can you get a kid to soccer practice? Can you get a kid to football practice? Can you help us get somebody picked up? Like, I'm out of town all next week. So there's a lot of personal assistant elements now that go into the life that's different than like, hey, can you like burp a baby? Can you change a diaper? That's what I think a lot of people think about nanny. So Gracie works with us, and she's got like 135,000 followers on TikTok. And she's built this really good audience. I'm kind of impressed by it. And one of the videos was like, hey, here's a day in my life, nanny. And my phone blew up because so many people saw her video about what she does working at our house. I think it got like 2 million views. And I said, we're out here busting our ass every day to get as many views on videos as we can. And then my nanny/personal assistant posts a video and 2 million people watch it on TikTok. So I said, look, I don't know anything about TikTok. I don't know how to cut a video. I don't know how to post a video. I don't know what people want on TikTok. By the way, you can follow OutKick on TikTok. I think we have like 250,000 followers. We do a good job clipping shows like these and posting them on TikTok. But I said, I just want kind of zany, irreverent, behind the scenes, not really that serious TikTok videos. And Gracie will post them all. So she's got my login. I don't even know how to edit these videos. She's going to post them. You can find me on TikTok now as well, at Clay Travis OutKick. Adam, correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's my TikTok account. Over 1,000 of you have followed me. The first video that we posted has over 50,000 views on it. I don't know how any of TikTok works. But this morning, I have talked on this program for a little while. I was working out, I don't know, probably 2-3 weeks ago. And I was thinking to myself, what percentage of men out there can actually bench 185 pounds, which is my weight? Because I was thinking, like, what is the number of men that can bench press 1 time their weight? And I thought it was like 20%. I thought 1 in 5 men could do it. I went on with Chad Withrow and Jonathan Hutton on the Hot Mic show, and we had this discussion. And they were like, no, that's way too high. It now appears that only like 1 in 50 guys can even bench press their weight 1 time. And I said, okay, I can bench press my weight, 185 pounds. That's what I weigh. I'm 6 foot 185 for people out there that are curious about my height and weight. I said, I can bench press my weight 10 times. And people were like, no, you can't. I put up a poll. The majority of you said I couldn't. Bet Online put up a betting line, and you got plus money if you believe that I could do it. There was a tremendous amount of disrespect out there for me and whether or not I could bench press 185 pounds. So today, Gracie, my TikTok star, I said, Gracie, we're going to go to the gym in my neighborhood. We're going to go to a public gym. I'm not going to use like a private gym. I'm going to show everybody the weights. I'll lift the 45-pound weight, put it on each side. I'll take the 25-pound weight, put it on each side, and then I'm going to do 10, okay? We didn't clear this at all. We walked in there. Gracie is videoing me, and there's a guy in there who's a personal trainer, and I was like, hey, will you just line up behind me here? And if I need a spot, because let's say I suddenly crap out and I can't get the reps up, and he was like, yeah, I'll do it, but I don't want my face to be shown. So maybe he's an international man of mystery. I don't know. I met him, never met him before. There's only like 4 or 5 people in the gym. But so he's the guy in the background there. We load up the bar. I want you to watch it. I'll watch it with you. This is this morning in the gym right now. Play it. I have said on social media that I can bench press 185 pounds 10 times. I weigh roughly 185 pounds. I believe that I can. Most of you on social media don't think that I can. And we are about to go into a public gym. We're about to see whether or not I can do it. Return of college football, 10 185s for all the haters, 45 years old, wear it. Okay, there you have it, 10 reps, 185 pounds. The haters are flabbergasted over this. My weight, 10 times on the bench at 45 years old. Now, let me say this. First of all, I think it would be cool if you're a guy out there watching this right now and you can't bench press your weight. I think it would be a cool challenge for you or your buddies to adopt during football season and try to get to the Super Bowl or the national championship game in college football, one or the other, and be able to bench press your weight. That's if you can't bench press your weight, work your way up. If you can bench press your weight, my challenge to everyone is do it 10 times. And I said between the ages of 20 and 50, so I'm talking about full-grown men, although some of you in high school are going to watch this and you're probably playing football and you might be lifting and you have a lot more time than everybody else. But here's the deal. If I, who am regularly attacked for being unathletic, fat, old, and ugly, if I have the ability to do my body weight 10 times, what excuse do you have? No excuse at all is the answer. And frankly, I'm going to call out the OutKick team. What does it say about the OutKick team that I am the strongest person in all of the OutKick company? I am also just about the oldest person in all of OutKick. We got a lot of the people in their 20s. We got a lot of people in their 30s. I think we have one employee, maybe two, that are older than me. Maybe it's 3. Like 95% of the people that we employ are younger than me, okay? I am like one of the oldest guys in the company. You guys need to have good long stares in the mirror at yourself. I got 3 kids. I got 8 jobs. I got like 50 shows that I do every day. A lot of you got no kids. All you got to do is chase girls, and you can't bench press your weight. And you can't bench press your weight 10 times. I'm just saying. Big flaw there. Again, on my very strong shoulders. You know who also didn't believe, by the way? My own kids. My own kids didn't think I could do this. My wife didn't think I could do this. Some people are surrounded by people who are yes men. Everyone that surrounds me derides everything that I say I'm going to do. This is true. Like several years ago, when I said, hey, I do this morning radio show, OutKick the Coverage, Fox Sports Radio, morning radio show. I said that I was going to get Donald Trump on the show live a couple of years before it happened. And every single person that I told that to thought that I was ridiculous for believing that was going to happen. I said it live on the air. I said, we're going to get Trump on this show. Even the people who work on the show were mocking and ridiculing. My wife was like, no, he's not going to come on your radio show. The president of the United States is not going to come on your radio show. No one ever believes that I can do anything. So, 185 pounds, 10 times. True story. On every one of my kids, as well as my wife's iPads or phones, my high school photo, graduation photo, is their background. I'm not like, I am ridiculed and mocked to the nth degree inside of my own home. 10 reps. I am told that this makes me, my strength, my incredible power, in addition to the amazing good looks, I am told that my strength is 1 in 1,000. That is, if you had 1,000 men all lined up, only one of them, the man that you are listening and watching right now, would be capable of doing 185 pounds 10 times. I don't know what that means I can do 225 on. A couple of years ago, I posted a video of me rapping out 3 on 225. That's what they test at the combine. But I'll just point out, everything that I say is true. I might get an opinion wrong, but a fact, I'm right. So far, have never been proven wrong in physical accomplishment. All right, Russell Wilson is going to be the starter over Justin Fields for the Pittsburgh Steelers. What does this tell us? Mike Tomlin is the most consistently successful head coach in the NFL right now. He basically finds a way to get to a winning record no matter what pretty much every year. I think the Steelers are in an incredible situation. They didn't have to pay any money really to Russell Wilson. They don't have to pay any substantial money to Justin Fields, and they have them competing. And if one of those guys ends up proving that he still has something left in the tank, the Steelers have got an absolute deal of the century. If, however, they fall apart and nothing good comes from it, then they still haven't risked hardly anything at all. And I will say this about Russell Wilson. I think I'm correct in this. If you guys can think of someone else that would fulfill this criteria, let me know. I believe Russell Wilson is the first player to have ever played himself out of the Hall of Fame. Think about it. A few years ago, for instance, when Russell Wilson finished with the Seahawks, if he had just come out and said, you know what, guys, I'm done. I'm going to retire. A lot of weight on the body. I don't feel like I have the same energy, the vitality, the ability that I used to. I don't have that same fire. I'm going to retire. 100% he's a Hall of Famer. Think about it. If he walks away at the end of the Seahawks tenure, gets traded to the Broncos, has he been there 2 years, I think? He was with the Broncos for 2 years. Disaster. Gets benched. Gets shipped to Pittsburgh. If he stinks in Pittsburgh too, I think he will have become the first player that I can think of to play his way out of the Hall of Fame. Because I don't think Russell Wilson right now would be a Hall of Famer. I think Russell Wilson, if he had retired 2 years ago, would have been a Hall of Famer if he had just said, I'm done, I don't want to play anymore. And I don't think hardly any of you would have disputed it. But now he has played his way out of the Hall of Fame. We'll see if he can play his way back into the Hall of Fame with the Pittsburgh Steelers going forward. One last thought here. I'll hit underrated teams in the college football playoff era tomorrow. Brett McMurphy looked at all the data. Yesterday we talked about teams that were overrated. Kamala Harris has agreed to sit for an interview. The interview is going to be with Dana Bash of CNN, the person who recently said that the entire she said the entire DNC appeared to her to be an endorsement for men with low testosterone to support the Democrats. Talk about damning Democrat voters with faint praise. It's an embarrassment that Kamala Harris can't do interviews. I said this on the radio show earlier. If CBS, NBC, ABC, the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, Washington Post, NPR, CNN, MSNBC, if all 9 of those media outlets showed up at my house right now and said, Clay, we want to interview you, zero prep, I could be asked a question about anything under the sun, and I would do a good job of it. You might not agree with my answers, but I am prepping all the time to do my radio show, to do this show. I read a great deal. I have a wide variety of opinions. I would be comfortable sitting for interviews with all 9 of those outlets. The only thing I would request is that all of them broadcast my full answers in totality. I'm not running for president of the United States. The idea that I would need to have somebody sitting with me and that I could only do one of those interviews, which is the criteria that Kamala Harris is sitting for right now, is, to me, beyond the shadow of a doubt, an indictment of her ability to do the job of president. Because in the same way, when I talk to you for 3 hours every day on the program, or I talk to you right now on this program, or when I get done with this, I'm going to do Fox Business, and then later tonight, I'm going to be on the top of the Laura Ingraham show. I will also do the Hot Mic show here at like 3:40 or whatever time, 4:40 it is Eastern. So I will have done like 5 or 6 shows today. I'll be ready for them because I have prepped to do my shows. Kamala already has the job. The idea that she would have to do more work to be ready to talk about doing the job of president of the United States when she's already vice president, the idea that the woman who wants to be the first woman president ever can't do an interview by herself and needs Tim Walz sitting beside her is ultimately disqualifying. And yet, that is where we are. Whatever you think about Trump, he's doing interviews with everybody. 0 restrictions on what you can ask. I think I have interviewed Trump 8 or 9 times now. I bet I have interviewed Donald Trump more times than almost anyone in media. Not once have they ever said, hey, you can't ask the president this. I did Trump, let's think about it. Twice on OutKick the coverage. We had him at OutKick. We had him at Bedminster. We had him at Mar-a-Lago twice. We just had him a couple of weeks ago on the program. I bet I've interviewed, I know we've had him at least twice more. I bet I have interviewed Trump almost 10 times. And at no point have they ever restricted what I could ask or said, hey, we need you to only ask these questions or anything like that. Whatever you think about Trump, there's nobody out there saying, hey, what are the guardrails? What can you ask? What can't you ask? And yet, here we are, Kamala, nearly been running for president for a full month. She's finally sitting for an interview with Dana Bash, a woman who has compared Trump to Hitler before, by the way. And she can't do it by herself. She needs Tim Walz with her. It's an indictment. It's a sign that she is not up for the job. But I am up for the job, the strongest man at OutKick, beyond a shadow of a doubt. I appreciate all of you, even the haters, who didn't realize what a beast I was. And by the way, instead of sitting around from your anonymous Twitter accounts chirping about me, how about you just shut up and do some push-ups and hop on the bench and stop being such a pussy? DBAP, unless you need to SBAP. I am Clay Travis, and this has been OutKick, the Strong Show.